Okay, so we have just a few more examples we want to do here with solving these linear inequalities. This is not one that's overly complicated, but we do have that fraction there, and I wanted to review a little technique we used for this type of problem. Most of our normal techniques work. Here we have the fraction, and if it was more complicated, we'd want to get rid of the fractions by multiplying the whole thing by our common denominator, which we could do here. But here it's easier if you remember to get rid of that fraction there. We can multiply both sides of the equation by its reciprocal. So I'm going to multiply by negative 11 over 4. So I have negative 11 over 4 times negative 4 over 11y. Remember, reciprocal just means flip it. Less than or equal to 8. And then multiplying that side by negative 11 over 4. Now as we simplify here, the negative 11 over 4 and negative 4 over 11 completely goes away, which is what we want it, leaving us with just y. Because we multiplied by a negative, the inequality is going to flip from less than or equal to greater than or equal to. And then we just have to simplify on the right hand side. 8 times negative 11 over 4. It turns out we can cross out a 1 with the 4, or 4 out of the 4 and a 4 out of the 8, and then we simplify 2 times negative 11 is negative 22. So we get y greater than or equal to negative 22. One last example here. Consider the inequality negative 5x plus 9 greater than 3 parentheses 9 minus x. So the left hand side, nothing to simplify. On the right hand side, we can distribute through 3 times each of those. So we get 3 times 9 and 3 times minus x. So the left hand side stays the same. 3 times 9 would be 27. 3 times minus x will be minus 3x. And at this point we want the variable 1 to one side. So I'm going to keep the variable onto the right hand side or left hand side. So that means I'm going to get rid of that 3x since it's negative. I'm going to add it, and I'm going to add it to the other side, matching it up with its like term. Now while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and move the number term over to the other side. So I'm going to subtract by 9 to get rid of it, go to the other side and subtract it as well. And then we go through and we simplify. Negative 5x plus 3x would be negative 2x. The 9's are gone. 27 minus 9 would be 18. And of course the 3x's are gone. So at this point we need to get x by itself, so we still have the number in front. It's negative 2, so we divide by it. But because we divided our equation by a negative, we have to go and flip our inequality. So we'll have x less than, and then 18 divided by negative 2 is a negative 9. Okay, so hopefully this will keep you straight as you're working with these inequalities. Treat them just like an equation, except when you multiply or divide both sides by a negative, and usually that's going to happen in that last step. Of solving the inequality. Okay. Other than that, we solve it just like an equation. Again, if we multiply by or divide by a positive, as we did in that first example in the last video, then we keep the inequality. It doesn't change. It's only when we're multiplying or dividing by a negative that the inequality's direction changes.